Why is there conflict in Syria, and why is there really a target on Iran? If you stop thinking about it in terms of U.S. interests, the puzzle is very easy. The U.S. acts for only one state's interest, and that's Israel. AIPAC purchased Congress with a foreign government's financial backing. After this report, everyone will act like they knew this all along, but just remember who explained it to you and who's been feeding you total garbage and intentional vagueness. Since we learned nothing in school and the press is a joke, I must go over some background information about pipelines. Pipelines are not just for transporting oil and gas, they are for political leverage as well. Each country a pipeline passes through greatly benefits as a middleman in the flow of resources. In order for energy to reach the open market, the pipeline must reach a port. After that, it can be shipped anywhere in the world. The major battle right now is over the Caspian Basin. It's a non-OPEC source of oil and gas, and there is a lot of it. The major markets are Europe and Asia. The larger market, and undoubtedly the larger future market, is certainly Asia. China and India are emerging, and both are strapped for oil and gas. Japan is also a thirsty, virtually oilless country. A direct line to China or India is out of the question, as conflict in Afghanistan prevents investors from joining any consortium, and without them there can be no pipeline. No one wants to spend billions of dollars on something that could be physically destroyed and plagued with attacks. Instead, at present, oil and gas going to Asia is shipped west through the BTC lines that start in Azerbaijan, then pass through Georgia and conclude in Cheyenne port of Turkey. For that oil and gas to get to Asia, it must pass through the Israeli line and come out at the Red Sea. Oil and gas going to Europe goes to Italy, which is why Italy and Israel are the largest importers of BTC gas and oil. Europe also has other sources of gas from Russia, oil from Libya, etc. Israel greatly enjoys its position as the final middleman on the energy going to Asia. After the Egyptian Revolution, when the puppet dictator Mubarak was forced to flee to Israel, Iran was free for the first time to pass its ships through the Suez Canal since 1979, before the revolution, while they were under the thumb of the U.S. and the puppet Shah, and could send oil and gas to Europe. Likewise, Libya could send its oil southeast to Asia. So shortly after the revolution, a conflict was manufactured in Libya, Libya was invaded, Gaddafi removed, and his contracts with the Chinese reneged. Europe was bullied into putting sanctions on Iran. Well, Iran has been expanding its gas fields. They'd like to send gas to southern Iran, which avoids Afghanistan, directly to Pakistan and India, and eventually to China. China has made it very clear that they are willing to overpay for gas and oil. At the same time, with the U.S. being kicked out of Iraq in 2011, Iran signed a $10 billion deal with Iraq and Syria to build a line through Iraq to Syria. Now, who is that a threat to? Turkey and Israel, naturally, because it's an alternative to the BTC monopoly. So who has had mercenaries in Syria from the beginning? Israel and Turkey, of course. The goal is not really regime change. The goal, like in Afghanistan, is to create a prolonged conflict to last for years, to tear Syria apart and create perpetual conflict, preventing any new lines from breaking the monopoly, and it also creates a healthy environment for MIC profiteers. In return, the Turks and the Israelis will continue to buy all of the U.S.'s toys, no matter how worthless they are in actual combat, albeit with money acquired from the U.S. to begin with in the form of aid. That keeps Lockheed & Co. happy, and thus the American media in line. The Americans are getting robbed, Syrians are being killed, Europe and Asia are being deprived of new sources of oil and gas, Iran and Pakistan are being pushed into the arms of BRIC, and Israel is laughing all the way to the bank. If you understand pipelines and the Israeli-centric grip on U.S. foreign policy, it makes perfect sense. At minimal, a gas line to Pakistan from Iran is going to happen. So look for more excuses for the U.S. to bomb in Pakistan. Everyone admits now that they know Iran is not building a bomb. The worry is that if Iran can build nuclear power for electricity, they could free up all the oil they currently consume and sell it. PNAC wants to destroy any potential economic or military rivals, and to hell with the people living in any country.